Hello and welcome to FS Brew. FS Brew is the region's first podcast focusing on all things insurance and insurtech here in the UAE and the wider Middle East. I'm Vidya. I'm the founder of Forward, a startup that works with insurance companies to accelerate their go-to-market propositions, digital transformation, and digital marketing initiatives.
And hi, I'm Ranjit Philip. I'm an angel investor and I advise and work with startups. I'm very happy to be here. So in this episode, we are speaking with Andy An, who is the CEO and co-founder of YAS MicroInsurance. YAS is a young and leading insurtech pioneer trying to shake up things in the insurance industry in Hong Kong, starting with Hong Kong, and now they've expanded to Malaysia. And we recently learned that they're coming to the UAE as well. So essentially, it's really about microinsurance and deep data analytics. You will know more as you listen into the podcast. Vidya, what were your moments that kind of resonated with you?
Ranjit, I totally enjoyed this interview. It was electrifying, and I think all our readers and listeners have to tune into this interview. I particularly enjoyed the whole customer insights that went into building their products. It's fascinating how they validated it. They took the whole psyche of it. They cracked the whole Gen Z and the millennial psyche, which many insurers here struggle a lot with. And they use that insights into building the insurance product itself, the type of covers that went into it, and how they actually talked to them and engaged with them. So I think that was just really fascinating for me. How about yourself, Ranjit?
Yeah, I think for me, a couple of things stood out. Definitely the whole product proposition itself, converting it from just being people and belongings based to event and time based. Then you move away from the tyranny of saying to underwriters that, hey, I've just got Hong Kong, which is a small city state with a population of X. Instead of saying that, you start to say it's actually a proportion of the number of kilometers that the runner runs, which is almost infinite, right? The potential kind of flips on its head. So that is a great way of selling it to underwriters and reinsurers. The other thing is obviously, we both caught onto it was the insurance of the digital assets and primarily NFTs, much needed as we go more and more into purchasing virtual assets. Who is going to insure it? Obviously, it doesn't come without its own challenges, but it's interesting to see a young startup making an attempt to get into this space.
I think we are breaking it for the first time that these guys are actually going to be here in the UAE as well. So exciting times to follow them and understand how they crack a market like ours as well.
Indeed.
Yeah. So listen in.
Today, we have the fortune of meeting Andy An, CEO and co-founder of YAS MicroInsurance. Welcome to the podcast, Andy.
Hello, Ranjit and Zia. Hello.
We'll get started with our traditional first question that we ask all our guests. And it's all about how did you get into the exciting space of insurance and insurtech? And also, can you give us a little bit of a background about YAS Insurtech and your role in it?
Sure. So I'm Andy An. I'm the CEO and co-founder of YAS. And the name YAS was actually from Dubai. About 3 years ago, when I was driving, I rented a car from Dubai to Abu Dhabi. I went past an island called Yas Island.
Yes.
And then I was like, wow, what a great name. So I went on Google and I typed, what does it mean by YAS, right? And in UAE, Google says that it means jasmine, a type of flower. And then so I typed a message to my co-founder, William. And I said, hey, what about, take a look at this name. I really like the name. And William searched on Google in Hong Kong, and it says extreme satisfaction. And it YAS multiplies by 10 times. And I said, oh, definitely, this is what we need because particularly for insurance, it's all about caring and loving, right? We should have satisfaction. And that's why we came up with the name. And the funny part is that if you read YAS backwards, it's SAY. And we said, why don't we give the say to our customers and consumers so that they have the rights and they have the freedom of choice? So that was the beginning of the name. And then the reason why we started with insurance is because myself, just a little bit background, prior to this venture, my previous venture was a big data company from all social media, news platform, web pages, and we aggregate all these data to do analytics for our clients. So we collected almost 22 billion sets of data from Facebook, Google, Instagram, LinkedIn, Chinese platforms, Western platforms. And my partner, William, he started a company called Redmart in Singapore, and then it was acquired by Lazada. And then another company called Doki, which was acquired by Fitbit. So he is sort of in the e-commerce, IoT sector. And then I met my other co-founder, our CTO, which is Kelvin. Kelvin works in blockchain and also secure payment. And we said, well, if we put all these of our core competence together and improve an industry, which industry would we pick? And three of us, we picked insurance because we think that the 200 years old insurance industry, there are a lot of things that we can improve in terms of the value chain, in terms of innovation, in terms of customer experiences, claim processes, how we can make use of data, everything, to improve the entire value chain. So that was a little bit background of us.
Oh, very nice. What did you do before this?
Data, yeah. So a big data engine, yeah. So
that's the start. Yeah, right. Perfect.
Yeah, and this company got acquired by one of the largest data company called Meltwater, and it was acquired in 2017. Yeah, so so that was we were actually the data aggregator that we were selling data to Meltwater, and then later on they acquired us.
Got it. Fantastic. What a great story.
Totally. What a fascinating story from the name to the whole founding itself. Now, how did you and your co-founders decide upon the whole business model? Is it B2C? Is it B2B2C? It'd be great if you can talk us through those details as well.
Yeah. So at first of all, none of our founders are from the insurance industry and background. So as you look at our profile, we're not working from the big incumbents. No experience at all. And I think that's an advantage where we're able to think out of the box. At the beginning, we started from, it's not about B2B or B2C or B2B2C. It's basically consumer focus. So I fire out all these questions to my team and my partners and say, okay, why would the next generation, what do they care most about? This is the first question. Do they really care about life insurance or medical, or they care about the MacBook, right, or iPhone, that they would buy Apple Care more, important than a term life, right? Is it true? So that was sort of the initial question, and we would ask questions like, if you had to claim Apple Care, would you have surprised that it gives you a Samsung, right? So why people are buying Apple Care? Right? Why they care? So everything starts from a consumer-centric, human-centric. We looked into the psychology of why the Gen Z, why incumbents are getting so difficult to find new millennials or Gen Z to come into the market and enjoy all the products and services that the market is offering, right? And because of all these customer-centric, we jumped into a few layers. The first thing is, what can we eliminate, right? And we say, definitely, if you look at nowadays, Uber, Grab Taxi, Deliveroo, Foodpanda, Spotify, Netflix, everything you just basically is just a touch of a button on your mobile phone and you're able to get the service. So we say, okay, if I'm hiking in the mountains and I suddenly the rain comes, and I want to insure my daughter, how am I able to get that done? So I was thinking, traditionally, I have to call my agent. It would take another 2 weeks to get a policy. And I said, why can't we just press a button and I'm insured through GPS technology? And I'm on demand. I needed that time, that particular moment for 1 day. Right? How can I work that out? So we came up with this reduce agents, broker, be it able to reduce the claim time as well. Because usually a claim time would take, a couple of months or weeks. How can we eliminate these kinds of timing? So now we're able to do 24 hours. Within 24 hours or 48 hours, we're able to do a claim, right?
Right.
And these are sort of elimination, right? And then from a consumer perspective, how can we improve? What can we improve? Well, we can improve data privacy. It's really important because my data is everywhere if I have like several policies. How can we improve the customer experience, the claim experience, the product relevancy, and ultimately what we can give out to our consumers? And is it a freedom of choice? Is it on-demand opportunity? And then at the end, it's whether there's a variety. Right? So these are, sort of the things that we're eliminating for our consumers. Take away all the pains. And on the other side, we are hoping to provide them a very unique and very specific things that eventually, because of technology, we're able to do it. For example, there's nothing such as dynamic pricing based on my person, right? And how am I able to do that in the future? But when smart city comes in, when data falls in, then we'll be able to transform a lot of things for the industry. So that's sort of the background how we come into play and why we think insurance is a great industry for us to jump in, dive in, and innovate.
Yeah, a little bit of a follow-up on that. So is Yas structured as an NGA or a broker, or do you have a full insurance license? Is that how you operate?
So we are now structured based in Hong Kong and Malaysia. We are structured under the insurance authority. We are an agent, right? So we basically we're distributing. But the unique thing of us that we are doing is basically we started off as an Insurtech, and then we are providing a lot of different technology in terms of GPS that we are able to do on-demand insurance. We have APIs that we plug into different insurers, and then we are able to offer all the data analytics behind. So it's a more Insurtech play. But because of our ability to bring in a lot of distribution partners, we also got a license as an agent to provide all these products. So what we have done is we have come up with our own unique products. We design our products, and the products are actually co-designed with our customers as well. And we bring the product to the underwriters and say, hey, would you want to write a check? So that's how we flip the model around and being able to offer these new innovative ideas to the market.
Right. Very good. Very good. We can see that you're clearly targeting from the side and the marketing messages, millennials and Gen Zs. And it's really very lifestyle oriented, as you said, the hike and the insurance during the hike. Can you please talk us through some of the processes? You mentioned a little bit, but how did you kind of co-design the product and validate these products with the customers? So was it research?
So it's basically based on data. So because of COVID, we are a COVID venture. We started during the 3 years of COVID time. Because of COVID, we see the exponential growth of outdoor activities. And we see mobile signals that is going out of office areas and business centric. And during even weekdays or weekends, we see mobile data, that the signals are happening in outskirts areas. And also we see accidents that increased into, exponentially, almost 300% in terms of accidents, people getting lost on the mountains, right? So because of the data, we come out with the product. Road bikers, we see sales data that in the past 30 years, selling bikes, importing bikes, it's growing exponentially, 400%, right? Public transport, we see that people are jumping from because of the gas fee that is increasing. People are not driving, they park their car at home and taking more Uber, taking more public transports, right? So these are all the fundamental data that we come up with the products. And the second layer would be the pricing. How can we price a product that people are willing to purchase, willing to buy? So we ask what we call co-founding members. We invite them to join in like a sort of Kickstarter model. And we say, hey, we are launching a road bike insurance. Can you join our pool? We want to do a lot of interviews and questionnaires, user experience tests. And we ask them, what would be most important while you're on the road? What would you want in terms of protection? Who do you care most about? And we have answers from our customers saying that, well, we care not only about ourselves, our body, getting into accident. because road bikers, they spend a lot of money into the bikes. The bikes
Yeah.
are $10,000. So they care. The guys, if you ask the guys, they care the bike most. If you ask the ladies, when they care about most is what happened when they fall into accidents. You know what they care about most? You ask 10 of them, 8 of them would say they care about their faces.
Okay. I'm not sure.
Now it comes into customer product design, right? Consumer product design. So our product, not only that we are ensuring the injuries, right, and medical, we also ensure the personal belongings. If they drop their phones, if they drop their airports, if they drop the garment, but we also add on and we say, okay, if your bike, got damaged, we are able to protect that as well. So now it comes to 3 dimension, not only one single product. And we ask for how much are you willing to pay and for how long. So instead of thinking of a year, we say, okay, if it is only $4 per ride, would you want to pay for that? And they said, yeah, maybe, right? What about $3? Oh, definitely, right? What about $6? Never. So they have a sort of very unique proposition. And I said, why? Why $3 you're willing to pay? Oh, it's just a bottle of water, a cup of coffee, right? Why not, right? And that pricing points become a demand from the market. We could create a product, and it is a necessity need for these road bikers. And for hikers, they have a different scenario. Hikers, they will purchase for their families and their friends and the kids and their parents. They care about others. They always think that they are the hero. For Uber or passengers, they would not even buy the insurance until suddenly at nighttime, 11 o'clock, after 2 alcohols, and the Uber driver speed over 120 kilometers per hour. Then at that particular moment, there will be a trigger point. So every experience is totally different, right? So because of these insights, we're able to tailor a lot of customer journeys, a lot of trigger points, a lot of emotional attachment. So lately, I'll tell you a little bit of some of our new products that is coming later on.
Okay, perfect. Wow. I have so many follow-up questions, but I'm going to pause. I'm going to pass it on to Vidya, and then I'll probably come back. This is exciting.
No, it is seriously very exciting. What a great process. What great insights to, dwell into, and, lessons for everybody who are listening in. We've got a broader question to ask you as well. You're operating in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is one of the most mature countries when it comes to insurance penetration, especially in comparison to the Middle East. So in a market like that, how did you build up a brand and ensure it breaks the clutter amongst the target audience that you are looking at?
Yeah, so as you know, Hong Kong, I think over 90% of the population are insured, very high density. I think it's a benefit because we are a fintech hub and we are able to go through a lot of compliances and also the regulatories. So we can set it up really proper and in a very high standard. So that's the thing that we choose Hong Kong as a starting point. Right. And then with the mobility of, we are such a 7.5 million population city, but the mobile penetration is 21 million, which means it's almost 2.9 times mobile penetration. So when we test our product, which we are mobile first, and because of the geofencing of each of these areas and locations and mountains and roads, and we're able to collect massive of data in a very precise outskirt. So we have new territories out there where it's more outskirt with urban cities, condensed with the highest intensity population in such a small area like Causeway Bay, for example. So with all these data points, we're able to learn so quickly and deploy into other regions. So then, because this year we also started our Malaysia office and we got our Malaysian products out for Malaysian markets. And also our team is also functioning in the Ho Chi Minh City. Later on market would be, Southeast Asia, definitely. We looked at, for example, Vietnam is a population of 100 million with over 50% population that is below 35. And they are all mobile first. They are all looking for, a product that they can be on demand, no wastage, anytime, anywhere. And when they need it, they want it, they press a button and they'll get it, right? And of course, we are also in a process of setting up our operation in Dubai and Abu Dhabi as well. So looking forward to come and see you guys.
Right.
Right.
Fantastic.
Very
Definitely
good.
catch up for coffee when you're here. No,
Absolutely.
see, now you mentioned why Hong Kong is probably the right market in terms of at least phone penetration and kind of a unique regulatory environment to test some of these things, and then you can expand it elsewhere. When you go to, let's say, underwriters or reinsurers with these, let's say, $2, $3 premiums and tell them, hey, I'm not going to insure the entire population of Hong Kong. It's a segment of population, and that too, bikers and hikers. From my experience, they usually say, hey, don't talk to me unless it's $1 million of premium. How do you overcome that challenge of getting the right reinsurance, right insurance partners?
Yeah, so most of the insurers that we talk to, we are very happy that we have really forward-thinking insurers that they really understand our business model. Our business model is not insuring the person. Our business model is insuring the person's data, which means the number of kilometers, the speed, the time, even the calories in the future, because now we just launched our running product, for example. That's a product that we are insuring the first time that a runner, that they can purchase 500 kilometers, and then we deduct every time they run. So imagine if you don't run last year, you never do exercise. I'll give just for example, it's zero, right? Or Philip, it's zero for you, right? But now you start to run. You run 500 kilometers a year. We expanded the pie for 500 kilometers, or let's say, just for the sake of saying, $1 per kilometer. Now the pie expands $500 more for this particular product. So we are insuring the data to insuring you, rather than insuring the person. So for us, the model is frequency. The model is kilometers. The model is time. The model is whatever unit size that you can create out from a person. So when you look at that, which means that our distribution channel would be totally different than any other insurance company, which requires per people, right, or face-to-face. So that's why we have been embedded our product into devices like watches. We can embed it into transactions. We have also embedded our insurance into our bus transport company that they have 3.8 million transits a day. So we have the frequency, and they also understand that the frequency, if you add on an embedded insurance that insures the passengers, that's one thing. We also embedded our insurance into e-commerce. So when you purchase something online, it comes with the insurance. So imagine in the future, if you buy a pair of Nike shoes, it gives you a running protection for 3 months. Afterwards, you need to top up. It's up to you, right? So that running, and I can track, because from the client side, they would say, distribution side, if you run over 500 kilometers, you should change a pair of new shoes, right? Now, we know that it would take me 5 months to run 500 kilometers. It would maybe take me 5 years to run 500 kilometers. Then I know the persona and I know how risky you are. But at the hypothesis, it could be, oh, I'm riskier than Philip because I run always on the road, versus you are not running, you are safe. Does that mean I'm healthier, or you are more healthier? So now we can set up these hypotheses, right? Because of data.
Right.
No, so that's very fascinating. I think I hope people are getting this. You've changed the model from people and cars and objects to time and distance, which is theoretically unlimited. So the premium is also unlimited in that sense. That's a great way to set.
So, So I'll give you an example, right? If I'm able to insure a marathon, and it embeds into your application when you sign up a marathon with 60,000 people, not only I insure you today by running this marathon, and by the end of the day, I know what happens to your injuries or medical conditions or stroke, whatever. But at the same time, once you sign up for the marathon, I can actually go way before the marathon and say, I'll insure you for the 6 months of practice.
Yeah.
6 months of practice. And I know where you're running, how you're running, why you're running it. And towards that day, if you don't attend, maybe I can also insure you on, refunding the application fees as well.
Yeah.
So then it is not only a day of event protection, it's actually by quarter, by week, by month, by kilometers. And I know that by offering you 2,000 kilometers, that should be enough for your marathon run. Then that becomes a kilometer game.
Absolutely.
No, it's brilliant stuff. It's fascinating. So it's very evident that you want to go for that micro moments of your customer. You're very sure where those moments are. Now, how do your customers actually think of you? How do you go about doing the whole acquisition piece? How do you reach out to your potential customers? What sort of advertisements or engagement activities that you enter?
Yeah, so we have several big, triangle strategies. One is we have actually partnered with most of the major races, major events.
Okay.
So the Spartan races, the mountain hiking events, the marathons. So that's sort of event-based campaigns. Every product that we come out, we have an ecosystem that we built. So for example, we have the biking. We align with all the biking shops, repair shops, apparels, insurance partners. We have KOLs. We have professional leaderboards that we will, bring them in to help us promote. We have the government official cyclist clubs and also associations joining us as well. These are all the community based. And then, of course, we have distribution. So distribution is basically when they trigger, whether they are enrolling into a partnership with us through a distribution of buying a bicycle, it comes with the insurance, or it could be buying a helmet that comes with it, or you're buying a hiking stick that comes with it. So that's also a distribution. And of course, with all these core pillars, we have our B2C marketing, we have our outdoor, our online, digital, social media. We through data persona, so we talk directly to the person. So that creates every product that has its own ecosystem. So now, for example, we are doing running. So all our runners, we have from sportswear, trackers, technology. We have a lot of smartwatches sponsoring us. We bring together the top runners, hikers coming together as a key opinion leader. And we're just creating all these vibes of movements, right? So that's what we've been building.
Right. Wow. So that's the magic word of communities that many startups are now utilizing. And it's interesting to see how you're kind of using communities first, and then you also do insurance. You do a lot more than insurance, it looks like. So
Yes.
Yeah. And this is hard work, right? I mean, forming a community, people think it's like creating a WhatsApp group and connecting people. No, you have to generate content, you have to add value, you have to conduct events. It's a hard piece of work. For any sort of advice for the startups who are kind of thinking of, hey, my distribution strategy is community.
Yeah, I think the good thing about doing hard work is when you do the hard work, it's hard, but at the end it will become easy because your entry barrier is so high that not anyone can come in and try to do if you do all these. I think you have heard of a lot of startup or ideas that I have built an app for event signups. Right? It's easy work, but then you have like tens of thousands of similar companies, right? If you are willing to do the hard work, we build a community that is really solid, and you're really solving the problems of them. They were really engaging, and they really love your brand and your products. And the future, when competitors come in, is actually you're building a shield for yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Switching gears a little bit, taking a startup view. So you did talk about how organically you kind of met with your co-founders, and sort of what are the best practices that you and your co-founders follow to ensure there are clear roles, responsibilities. And we all hear of horror stories where co-founders fell out and the startup dissolved. So how do you kind of manage that? What any advice for budding Insurtech or other startup founders?
Yeah, so a lot of the time, we always looked into our own Number one is look at our own blind spots. Like what's my weakness, because I want my co-founder to cover my weaknesses. I think that's really important. So if I'm not good at numbers, I need a number guy to come in and be my co-founder, look at the numbers and finance. If I'm not good at tech, bring in a partner that could take over the tech. If I'm not good at creativity, bring in a partner that can bring in creativity. If I'm not good in operation, bring in a guy that is operation. So that by understanding who you are, what your weaknesses, bring up a blind spot and bring it out and look at it. What is your blind spot? And then, so this is number one. And I think secondly is how, if you have more than one founder, like co-founders that you have, maybe for us, our case is 3 co-founders. We are all like very, have our own sort of intelligence and superpower, right?
Yeah.
And if you're able to put the superpower together and it becomes a superpower, of course it's good, but most of the time it's not the case, right? So what we have to do is we need to do alignment meetings, like founders alignment meetings, because otherwise the team would be so confusing. Like who is talking what? Like where's the vision? So we need to align in terms of vision, in terms of the mission, in terms of the strategy, in terms of how we're delivering things to the team, so that that culture can come together and it shines, right? Rather than like splitting the company into 3 different directions. So this, the second thing is alignment. And I think the third thing is basically it comes into all the execution timing, because most of the time when it comes to teamwork, the timing to the market is very important. Some would think that, oh, this is down the road 5 years later. When it comes to innovation, it could be a 10 years schedule. Some would say, oh, because we're raising funds and now is a 3 weeks or 3 months sort of time schedule. So how can you come up with a timeline that everyone can fall in place and be the best positioning? So sometimes I might come up front, that I'm most powerful at the very beginning, and I have diminishing speed, right? So my partners have to come and pick it up, because otherwise, I can always be an electric rabbit that I can go all day long, 24 hours nonstop, right? So you need someone to hand over and it's a marathon, because it's not a sprint, right? So even though we are doing a lot of sprints, but then it's a long sprint marathon. So that's how you have partners to come in and take you forward, and you have to rest and then you come back again, right? So that's how you keep on scaling and growing your business.
Yeah, makes sense.
Awesome. Going back to Yas's, products, you already have a set of really interesting, very innovative set of products. The one that, that really piqued our interest is the NFT insurance. Now, can you tell us what went into actually building that product and, the insights of it? It'd be great to hear.
Yeah, so NFT product is really interesting because it's also from the customers, right? We've realized that all our consumers, our customers, not only that they have the physical needs, but they have the virtual needs, right? So it's two things that they have. They have to travel, they have their own injuries, they have the sports, they have the data hacks, WhatsApp being hacked, Gmail being hacked. These are already in the market. But what we see is that in the other side of the Web3 economy, no one is insuring Web3 economy. Under 1% is being insured. But all these users, they are worried about, oh, I bought this NFT, what happened if I got hacked? I have this crypto wallet, I have this exchange, what happened if there's a flash sale? I bought this metaverse, meta land, how would that look like? And I have this like GameFi, DeFi, play to earn thing. Like I earn something is really valuable to me, and how can I ensure that? No one is taking care of that. So we launched our first product that's called Nifty, NFTY, and we tested it out in the market, and we see a huge demand coming back and say, hey, everyone needs it. So merchants, they love it. Consumers, they want to have it, and they want to have embedded payment gateway companies came to us, NFT distributors came to us, custodian came to us. And they said, we really need the product. So we came in with a proof of concept that we put together a pool of about, I think it was around $2 million pool that we are able to test trial some new products, right? So we launched it out in the market. We did artists in London, in Paris, in US, in Hong Kong. We have some individual charity and foundations that they want to launch NFTs and want to get insured. And the number one thing for merchants, because of all the hacks and also phishing sites out there, everyone wants credibility, right? That's number one. Like, buy from me, I'm insured, right? Or I'm having warranty of these NFTs, got hacked. And secondly, we see that there are also B2C concerns where people are holding their wallet and they're worried about being hacked of the valuable assets, right? If it disappeared because of their flaws of the smart contract. So what we are moving from our version 1, now we are migrating into version 2, because version 1, there's no such a captive pool which is under crypto, right? It's all converted into fiat and also crypto fiat, and now it is very confusing, because imagine when you purchase the NFT through Ethereum, the price fluctuates. That's number one. Number two, NFT, the price itself fluctuates, right? So the question is, when you issue a policy and when someone claims, at which price range you are insuring them, right? So this is the problem with the version 1. Version 2 that we are moving is the reason why we are also exploring Middle East, UAE, because of the jurisdiction, and also the regulatories are more flexible, they are more innovative, and they have more forward thinking of how the crypto economy would scale in the future. So we are about to launch our NFT version 2, which we are solving a lot of different tackle a lot of issues as well, including 2 things. One is, when I am a merchant, I transfer to you during the first 6 blocks of transfer, whether there'll be hacks, of the smart contract, of exploits of these contracts. That's number 1. Number 2 is, when you hold the asset, it has been it got hacked or disappeared, right? So that's the second. So both are talking about a digital asset value that we see huge demand. So that's why we launched this, where we were in different media about this product. And now, these days, we're very happy that the industry, a lot of players are also coming along and trying to solve this all together, because it's very new. It's a new demand. It's a new risk. It's a new behavior. It's a new liability. Right. Everything is new.
No, that's fascinating. I mean, I think we have talked about, Vidya, you and I have talked about, insuring our digital assets for a long time now. Great to see.
For a long time, yeah.
It'd be fascinating to, I don't know to what extent you can tell us about the, inner workings. Is it primarily kind of a self-insured scheme, or do you have a reinsurance partner? I would imagine it's almost structured like a line of cyber insurance, because there is a bit of hacking involved, although it's completely different. It's Web3. It'd be fascinating to know.
Yeah, our first version was actually built together with our insurer, Generali. So we built the product NFTY. Our next version will be a new product that we have separate warranty and also ensure that we are going through regulatories and licensing. And that would take a little bit of time for the market to come into play with the regulatories. But the demand that we see are actually all these NFTs and also wallets and also custodians and exchanges. Everyone are looking into the new Web3 economy. All these assets, no matter it's metaverse or metaland, or all the way to GameFi and DeFi, how are these assets are able to insured? So our team is working on all these product pipelines, very similar to our existing Web 2 products. We think that the future will be Web 2 plus Web 3. It's not like going 100% decentralized, disregarding all the regulatories. It would not work, right? Because at the end of the day, something has to come in to regulate and say, oh, when I claim, there is a captive pool that are able to pay out. So that, I think that's the important thing that everyone has to understand, rather than going out and say, oh, I'll just do a token, right? And I'll distribute a token and come in peer-to-peer insure. I think that would not be as smooth as we think if we go on that way. So there are several things that, of course, you do a quick way, but we don't want to do a quick way. We want to do a right way. We want to
Yeah.
make sure it works rather than say, hey, this is, for, fast pace, fast track, and just dump it out to market. So we are ahead to the jurisdictions and regulators.
Got it.
Interesting. Yeah.
A general question, getting back into the sort of startup domain, look around us. Fed just hiked the rates again by a whopping 0.75%, and the funding environment is fairly tough. And I'm assuming Insurtechs are also facing that heat. So any advice, any inputs for a founder looking for investors, especially folks in the Insurtech space?
Yes, definitely. The market is very choppy at the moment. Since June, I think in June, Y Combinator and also Sequoia also sent out to the portfolio companies and say, roller coaster ride, buckle up. And we see that. We see that nowadays it's no longer about all these hype stories and pumping up valuation with nothing at the back, but how can you have generated real profit, revenue that's coming along and have a real product market fit. I think for ventures like ourselves and for founders, I think the worst time sometimes is the best time, because at the worst time you are able, to find better talents. You are able to, get things into more a solid foundation where you can plan ahead at a very disruptive model where even big guys, even conglomerates, even incumbents, that they have their shortfall. So that is actually an opportunity if you can see through some of these loopholes. So I think this is a good time for us to seek around. Maybe there are massive layoffs from incumbents where you can recruit them. Maybe there are opportunities where some products have been dropped off from the market because they couldn't sustain. You can pick up on that. Maybe it's time for innovation because no one is willing to step out and do things. So I think if you look at the positive side, there are a lot of things to think of. But of course, we stay positive, but we hang on. When the market comes back, maybe 6 months later, maybe 9 months, I think we'll be on top of the wave again.
Very good.
Fabulous. Andy, you're a data person, and as a founder, I can imagine your dashboard is quite busy on a daily basis. But what are the different metrics, or let's say on a top 3 metrics or top 5 metrics that you like to track on a daily basis, and you are on top of it?
Yeah. So on top of a lot of data matrix, from consumer side, from business side, to all the ways to claim side, and also product development side. So just to name a few, right? So of course, as most of the founders I know, you need definitely to look at the customer acquisition cost to CAC. How can you lower the customer acquisition cost by what kinds of strategies? The lifetime value. I think most of the term life is like 15 to 20 years. For us, it's like 3 to 5 years. Way shorter. Medical maybe a little bit longer. So the lifetime value. How can we lower the churn rate? Being able to bring in the loyalty into the game. I think these two are important. Cash flow is a big thing. Burn rate is a big thing. These are the big numbers. When it comes to product development, the numbers are usually in the entire economy, right? I just mentioned, what are the sales for each of these sectors? Is it increasing or decreasing? What is the demand going through from the consumer side? Are they attending, signing up applications or not? Right? So just to give you an example, for marathon runners, used to be 20,000 people, now is 80,000 people. So that it's scaling. The industry is scaling just by running itself, right? So that would be another data metrics that will be looked into for product development. And from the claim side, there are a lot of claim insights that we're able to track down and say, for example, yesterday we had a claim that one single person claimed 7 times. And he still comes back. We want him, he still comes back. So we need to raise investigation. Why same guy is coming back 7 times, and even with he came back with police reports, all these things. But because of those data, we're able to learn how we can build a bigger, prevention of frauds. So fraud detection, there'll be a whole set of data. Yeah. So for us, there are many different, or with hundreds of metrics that we're measuring. But I think to kickstart is basically the few key numbers that you can track. That would be great.
Perfect. Wondering if there is any sort of community metric that you track as well in terms of engagement and stuff like that.
Yeah, community definitely, on different social platforms, the engagement, the likes, the shares, the comments, the interaction, the advocates, the KOL sharing. So these are all the community numbers that we're bringing in. But we always ask questions. We always ask the community, what give us feedbacks. Be our VIP member. And what's the benefit of being a VIP member is when the product launch, they'll be the first one to test it out for free.
Right. Nice.
Yeah.
Got it.
Fabulous stuff.
This has been a great podcast. And before we kind of bring it to a close, is there a sort of message that you would like to send out to anyone in the insurance industry, APAC, or even in the Middle East, now that you're kind of looking at this region? It could be a personal one or a business one.
Yeah, I think, for a message, definitely want to send out more love to everywhere in the world. We have been in a very chaotic world these days. The years when I was born, we always talk about world peace. Peace is always something that I would hear from everyone. These days, a lot of debate, war, fighting, economically, everything. But if we are able to come together and put our mind and our thinking into other one's shoe, I think the world will be a way better place. And as entrepreneurs, we come in is because we see problems we want to solve, right? But there are also a lot of problems that the world is creating itself. So how can we come together and solve more problems faster and to reduce all these conflicts? I think it will be a better world. And I think our job as entrepreneurs are to create a harmony place, and at the same time being able to make some profits, bring our stakeholders some good returns and our customers great experience, great products. I think that this is something that definitely everyone have the same thought in their minds as well.
Right, very good. That's a great message to end on. Where can our listeners reach you or follow you on any favorite social platform? Yeah,
LinkedIn, Andy N, feel free to follow me. I do post a lot of stuff, so don't be annoyed. But I think sharing is really good. We are able to share our failures, share our success, and celebrate together. So that's all I do all day long.
Perfect. Very good. Vidya, any closing thoughts?
No, it was just a fascinating one to listen to all especially the customer side thinking that's gone into the proposition. But thank you so much, spending time with us. We had great chat. Thank you for being on FS Brew.
Thank you so much, and it's a great pleasure. Nice meeting you all.
Thank you.